We have our second player this year who's going to the PGA Tour in 2026, and we're on the road to French Lick. Hello, welcome to the Road to French Lick, a show chronicling the Korn Ferry Tour. I'm Ryan Ballengee. On this week's episode, we have our third two-time winner of the year on the Korn Ferry Tour. We'll hear from him after the NV5 Invitational, and we talked to one of the top 10 players, actually one of the top 6 players, on the Korn Ferry Tour points list this year in Davis Chatfield. Let's get into the NV5 Invitational, the most recent event on the Korn Ferry Tour schedule, played once again this year at the Glen Club in Glenview, Illinois, in suburban Chicago. Our Brendan Sweeney was up there capturing interviews with the event. We had Neil Shipley and Chandler Blanchette join the program last week after their success over the recent weeks on the Korn Ferry Tour. And turns out we have another already successful player this year reaping more benefits as the winner of the NV5 Invitational. That player is Johnny Keefer. He wins for the second time this year on the Korn Ferry Tour season. He winds up winning by 2 shots on 26 under 258, beats Jeffrey Kang, who made a spirited charge on Sunday shooting 65. But that wasn't enough to catch Johnny Keefer, who is in his first full year as a pro, second year overall as a professional, and he wins $180,000 as a result of taking the victory, 18% of the $1 million purse. He gets 500 Korn Ferry Tour points, which statistically assures him of one of the 20 spots going to the PGA Tour in 2026 as a result of being at the top of the Korn Ferry Tour points list at the conclusion of the season, which is the Korn Ferry Tour Championship presented by United Leasing and Finance on the Pete Dye course at French Lick Resort. So Keefer is hashtag tourbound along with Austin Smotherman. Neil Shipley is the other player that has 2 wins this year. He has not quite statistically gotten enough points to guarantee himself a PGA Tour card next year, but he's basically there. He's going to be one of those 20 players graduating from the Korn Ferry Tour to the PGA Tour. But the celebration last weekend was for Johnny Keefer, who got a ceremonial lacrosse stick. He's a local kid here to the D.C. area, the Baltimore area. He's a lacrosse player. Turns out he's also a heck of a golfer. He's going to the PGA Tour. Let's hear from the NV5 Invitational winner, Johnny Keefer.
Yeah, it just inches me that much closer to a card. I obviously very motivated watching, Austin play some great golf and watching Neil play some great golf, and just to make sure that I kind of follow and try and one up them sometimes, and they're going to try and one up me, which is great. It's just driving each other. It's great, and kind of inching closer to that tour card is all the more possible.
Will you use kind of other players, like seeing those guys get those second wins, to motivate you, or what's your process?
I don't think. Yeah, I don't necessarily base my performances based off of them. Obviously, if I was going to base myself off of anyone, I'd love to, base myself off of the best in the world, which right now is Scotty Scheffler. So, they're incredible players, but, comparing each other is a little bit difficult, especially week to week. It's a new game every single week. So, yeah, I think I just try and take myself, compare to myself and kind of see if I've done the best, all that I can that week. And if I have, then great, and I can leave that week satisfied.
With his win in the NV5 Invitational, Johnny Keefer takes over the lead in the points list from Austin Smotherman. He's also now the second player to be officially hashtag tourbound for 2026. He will be one of the 20 players in the top 20 in the standings at the end of the season, regardless of what happens the rest of the way. He's going to the PGA Tour on the back of 2 wins this year. He now leads the point standings at 1,948 points on the year. Austin Smotherman is second on that list now at 1,844 points. Neil Shipley is in third position at 1,530 points. Hank Lebioda is in fourth at 1,390 points. And S.H. Kim is in fifth place at 1,313 points. Alvaro Ortiz is the number 20 player on the points list at this junction in the season. He is at 682.9 points. That puts him a little bit more than 5 points ahead of a winner this season, also a guest on the Road to French Lick, Logan McAllister, who is 21st in the point standing. So at the beginning of the year, we talked about the idea of needing 1,000 points or so to be in that top 20, and we're getting closer to that projection being dead on.
French Lick, Indiana, our little corner of the world, has big things waiting. It's where legends were made, on the court and on the course. Walter Hagen, Colin Montgomery, Betsy Rawls, and Mickey Wright. It's where life is lived to the fullest, and where unexpected adventures are around every corner. Big things are waiting. Are you in? Visit FrenchLick.com and start your escape here in Indiana.
Our guest this week on the Road to French Lick is Davis Chatfield, who is number 6 currently on the points list and one of the players most likely to be tour-bound in 2026. We spoke with him at the NV5 Invitational. Brendan Sweeney had a chance to talk to him about his season to date and what he's been so successful at doing here in 2025.
All right, Davis, how you doing, buddy?
Good, how are you?
How's life on the road been so far this year?
It's been fun. I got into a lot of really cool spots, and happy to be in Chicago this week.
Well, I mean, I want to say it's almost a home game for you, but being a Notre Dame grad, how much time did you spend in Chicago when you were in school?
A bunch, definitely a bunch of practice trips up here. Definitely kind of feels like a second home for me, so I'm excited to do that.
We had the opportunity to go play the Warren course in South Bend. What a dynamite facility, Court Crenshaw. I mean, you being a college athlete at University of Notre Dame, what was that like having a facility like that? Because you guys were pretty much really the first guys in the Northwest to have a really modern, state-of-the-art facility.
Yeah. I enjoyed my 5 years there. Wish I could do it again looking back. But yeah, we had a great facility. Obviously, that course is unbelievable. They had a senior PGA there or something. So
2014 Senior U.S. Open.
Senior U.S. Open.
Yeah.
They used to have regionals there, but we always had our home event there in October, and it was great. So it's great 18 holes.
What are you working on this week at the range?
Just maintenance stuff, nothing in particular. Just making sure all the numbers are where I want them to be, and just another week on the road.
At this point of the season, you're just trying to go for maintenance, trying to keep it easy.
I try not to work on too many technical things this point in the season. Less is more, and if I can play subconscious, then it's a great thing.
Well, we wish you the best of luck and go Irish.
Thank you. Go Irish.
One.
Thanks, man.
Brendan Sweeney joins me down from Orlando. We have another guy that's hashtag tour bound in Johnny Keefer, wins for the second time, wins the NV5 Invitational out of Glenview, which you were at pre-tournament doing great stuff for us, interviews galore that people will see the rest of the season here on the Road to French Lick. Now we've got two guys in Austin Smotherman and Johnny Keefer who are definitely going to the PGA Tour next year.
Right.
And Neil Shipley is practically there. So let's talk about those three guys as kind of the three multi-time winners this year. And the three guys who, now the rest of the way, if they win, can go play on the PGA Tour in the FedEx Cup fall and maybe do some extra damage.
Yeah, man. It's exciting. I mean, we've been talking about this all year about how you got to get the points and you got to keep grinding. And Johnny Keefer coming up and, shot lights out, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then Sunday shoots a 69, right? And then bogey free. And it looked like he was leaking a little bit of oil. Kang, almost caught him a little bit. Davis Chatfield was playing great and he had a double coming down the stretch, and it sort of knocked him back a little bit. But, he's another guy we got to look at too. If and when he does get his card, he will be the first Notre Dame Fighting Irish to play professionally on the PGA Tour, excluding one season that Billy Casper played for the Fighting Irish. So there's a little tidbit there for you, but I tell you what, the points are getting intense. The Korn Ferry Championships presented by United Leasing and Finance at the French Lick Resort is going to have a cast of characters this year, and next year even more.
Yeah.
And as we look at the points, if we look at the standings and whatnot, not only is the top getting sort of narrowed out. You mentioned last week that roughly about 7 guys will have their card pretty much hashtag tour bound prior to French Lick, which leads this race to 13 dudes compared to last year, which was probably 15. So, or more than that, it was at 30. So by 20 guys. So yeah, it's coming down to the end. And if you look at the point standings, all the first-time winners like Kyle Westmoreland, Logan McAllister, Bryson, they're out of the top 20 right now. I mean, they're knocking on the door. They're losing ground to the field, and they got to get their stuff together. They need to have a top 20, a top 10 finish, and they need to perform well and come down to the end of the line. And any one of these guys, if you look at, anybody with like 200 points, they win one week, and next thing you know, poof, they're in the top 20. So it's tight, and it's coming down. And when the playoffs do start, those points go to 600 instead of 500. So winning in the backstretch is huge. And there's a lot of dudes out there right now that they got to get their engine running, man. They have to.
That is an important thing you point out here, that you're not out of it if you have 200-ish points so far. You get 500 for a win. That puts you at 700. It's not going to get you all the way there. But if you win one of these, basically every event before the Korn Ferry Tour Championship, you still have one event left to get that other finish you need to get to the PGA Tour. And if you could just get into the dance, get into the last two tournaments, smaller fields, yeah, there's a cut, in the penultimate event at Patriot, but all you got to do then is you have 2 weeks to figure out how to have one top 5-ish finish, and maybe you get a tour card out of it. So there's still no reason to throw in the towel yet.
Right. And if you look at, I mentioned it a few times in the past in some of our earlier shows, a guy to watch out for out of Akron, Ian Holt. He is number 1 in greens and regulation and number 99 in putting. So he's got to get his stuff together, man. Just head casing out. But he's got, 563 points right now. So he wins. He's got 1,000. So he's got to sharpen up that putter a little bit, because he's number 1 in greens and reg, and he's knocking on the door of, number 99 of putts made. So it all comes down to the short game, and we're seeing it as we speak. So it's getting exciting. Chicago was a blast. Johnny Keefer wins. He got a really cool, he's got such a great personality, and we'll see it in the interviews in the show today that, they sent him a lacrosse chick. He's a Baltimore boy. He's not too far from where you are. And anybody who knows about Baltimore, anybody knows about Maryland, anybody knows about the Northeast, that you're a lacrosse player. That's something I know about from being up there with my daughter. So yeah, it's cool. Good for him. And he's got such an infectious smile, Johnny Keefer, and he and Austin are tour bound right now. So we'll see what happens. Yeah,
Johnny Keefer, I've heard Ryan French say this before, and I from Monday Q Info, and I tend to agree with him. We're not going to see him back on this tour again. This was a shooting star, one ship passing in the night, and he's going to be a superstar in his first full year as a professional. I know he started as a pro last year, toward the tail end of last year. Got out of PGA Tour Americas into the Korn Ferry Tour, won twice on this tour. He is on a rocket ship to the PGA Tour. So if you get a chance, and the Korn Ferry Tour is where you are in the next couple of months, I would make the effort to go see Johnny Keefer go play golf, because it's going to be a whole lot more expensive to watch him play golf coming from years from now.
Speaking of which, tickets will still go on sale for the Korn Ferry Championships presented by United Leasing and Financing at the French Slick, www.frenchslick.com. Coming soon to a Ticketmaster near you. So tickets are cheap. Bring the family. Book a room right now. There's a lot of excitement going on during that week.
Yeah, it's a really cool atmosphere. The scene around the 18th green last year when you were emceeing kind of the partners competition was really fun, but just in general was really, really cool. And then all the new stuff happened at the resort, including the short course Sand Creek, which is an absolute blast. And I'm sure people will want to get their hands and feet on that during tournament week. So like Brendan said, FrenchLake.com, go get your tickets soon. We're running out of regular season events. We got Utah this week.
Yep.
Utah Championship, and then a couple to go after that, and then we're into the playoffs. So yeah, we talked about guys who shouldn't worry if they have 200 points. You can still go get a PGA Tour card. But if you have really done nothing with your season to this point, you got 2 events to figure this out, and you got to find your way into the tournament, like Bryson Nimmer did last year. He barely got his way in. He got to the 3rd leg, and that was enough to get him conditional status. That got him plenty of starts this year and ultimately netted him a win. And now he's got a place to play for 2 years. So there's a lot that has to happen here the rest of the way that's really important, even if you don't get a tour card.
Look at Braden Thornberry last year. I mean, he had to win to get his card, you know.
Yeah.
And who knows? I mean, but some of the guys that I'm sort of shocked that haven't really performed up to their ability this year. I mean, you look at I don't know, Will McGirt, Cole Hammer, Ryan Armour, Tommy Gainey, Ian Gilligan out of Florida. They got to get their engine started. I mean, if you look at Armour and Gainey and Gilligan and Nick Watney, Aaron Wise, Jackson Buchanan, they're out of the 156 already. So they got to play hard just to even get a mention to get into the playoffs. So, yeah, it's time to light the fuse, boys. You're running out of runway.
Yeah, I mean, if you look down toward the bottom of even that top 156 cutoff that gets you into the first leg, there's a bunch of guys who are name recognizable to fans of the PGA Tour. Guys that have won, guys that have been to the Tour Championship, played in major championships.
Sure.
How about Sam Bennett, man? 128th on the points list. And he was one decent round away last year in the final round, or the third round for that matter, from being one of those 30 guys that got a card last year. So
what about Doc Redman?
Yeah, Doc Redman.
I mean, he's floating down, he's in like in a 130 range right now. But these guys are like snakes. I mean, they can snap you right out of there. They can just boom, and next thing you know, they're there.
Right, but those guys are sitting at not even barely 100 points in the standings right now. You got to make it real quick, and one of those things is probably got to be a win, or you got to go second, third for a while, and really find a gear that they have definitely not found this year. So.
And next year it's going to be so much tougher because you got the 25 guys that are dropping down from the PGA Tour. So
yeah. I mean, if the mission isn't to get a PGA Tour card this year, and maybe that's not in it for everybody. Of course, there's only 20 guys that get it, but you got to make sure you're finishing in that position to have guaranteed Korn Ferry Tour status through the entire year next year. You got to have that locked up because all those guys you just mentioned, they're coming down for the PGA Tour. They want to get right back up to the show. And now the competition pool gets a whole lot deeper for 2026.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it, man. It's definitely the race is on, and it's all systems go.
Well, we're going to enjoy the backstretch of this season, and we'll be getting together soon enough in French Lick to hand out some cards. Can't wait for it, Brendan. Thanks as always.
All right, see ya.
That'll do it for us this week on the road to French Lick. Thanks so much for watching. We appreciate it. The next Korn Ferry Tour event is the Utah Championship presented by Zions Bank out at Ogden Golf and Country Club in Ogden, Utah. We'll have a show for you after that event as we get closer to the end of the regular season on the Korn Ferry Tour schedule. For Brendan Sweeney and everyone at the French Lick Resort, I'm Ryan Ballengee for everyone at Golf News Net. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on the road to French Lick.
You've arrived at French Lick Resort, here in Indiana. 2 hotels you have to see to believe. Legendary Golf by Pete Dye and Donald Ross. Our little corner of the world is like nowhere else. Your French Lick getaway starts now at FrenchLick.com.